Turn around for me, please. How does that feel? A little more comfortable in the shoulders?
Sort of.
Okay. I think it looks great. Now, obviously if you feel uncomfortable, let me know. But aesthetically, I think it actually looks really, really good. If you're not used to wearing suits, you know, you may just not be used to something that form-fitting, but it really looks nice on you. Does it feel uncomfortable, or you think this might work? Okay. Now this is our tailored fit silhouette. If I had the tailored fit, I think happens to work great on Julian. Now, but of course, it's very important for us to listen to our customers and to fulfill his exact needs. If I got some sort of indication that he might prefer something a little bit more traditional fitting or a little bit slimmer fitting, I can certainly try on some additional garments and kind of go from there. But in this particular case, the tailored fit I think works great for Julian. So that's kind of where we would proceed. Now our Reserve collection garment is made with Italian fabrics, and it's made in our New Bedford, Massachusetts factory. So it is made in America, and it really, really is a nice looking suit. Now this has a little bit of a design to it. It's got a very slight pinstripe pattern, but I think it still is very much appropriate for an interview. How does that feel?
I like it.
Good. Now at some point in the process, I would also introduce our custom collection. We recently introduced custom. It's a really, really powerful tool with us to really offer a personalized process for our customer. In this particular case, since he needs a suit for an upcoming interview in a week, in that particular case, I would go with an off-the-rack suit because I wouldn't be able to get the custom suit in time. But I am very much going to introduce, at a minimum, our custom program, and possibly even suggest a custom suit. And the pinstripe navy suit offers a tremendous amount of versatility. You can wear any color shoe with this. You have a lot of really nice options that we could play with shirts and ties. But this is quite versatile as well, and we could certainly have a lot of fun with that too. I think that suit looks great for the wedding. It's also part of our Reserve collection, so on sale for $649. I would certainly recommend picking that one up as well. All right? He's easy. He's an easy customer. I'm going to get a lot of money out of him. You can take that off. Now it is very, very important for us to build a customer's trust, and part of building a customer's trust is listening and fulfilling his initial needs. Let's say Julian had come in for a pair of socks or a lower price item. I'm not immediately going to say to Julian, "Oh, let's forget the socks for a minute. Let me go up and show you some suits." We really want to make an effort to listen to the customer and fulfill the customer's initial needs. Now, while I'm fulfilling that need, whether it's a pair of socks or again a small ticket item, I am going to try to introduce maybe the suit promotion or custom or tuxedo rentals, so on and so forth. So I'm really, basically we're just looking to maximize every opportunity that we have and to try to fill Julian in on a lot of different things that we do aside from just his initial needs. But it is important for us to fulfill that initial need first. A little bit earlier, possibly a little bit later, depending on how the conversation is going, I would have also introduced Julian to our rewards program. In this particular case, again, like I said, maybe rent him a tuxedo or sell him a suit as a boy. But in this particular case, Julian's already told me that he hasn't shopped with us before. So at some point in the process, I'm going to discount on all rentals. If all of this sounds familiar, which it might, if they spoke to you about the Perfect Fit program over at Men's Warehouse, it's virtually an identical program, just it's under the Joseph A. Bank name. As opposed to Perfect Fit, we call it the Bank Account Rewards Program. So I'm going to be introducing that to Julian, and possibly even using that $500 barrier as an opportunity to sell them more items to get up to those. Are both made in that same New Bedford, Massachusetts factory. They just come to us under those unique labels for each brand. We also have our 1905 collection custom suits, which are made in China. The regular price on those is $698. All right, and they offer, if I'm not mistaken, Men's Warehouse is, I believe, the Joe line, if I'm not mistaken. So we have 2 different levels of custom, and it's, like I said, it's just a really, really cool, fun process, and it's a really powerful tool to really, really make it a personalized process and build up our loyalty. Let's see.
Let me say one thing about
Yes.
Abood.
Absolutely.
We bought Joseph Abood about 5 years ago.
I'm not directly involved in the social media presence as far as goals, initiatives, things like that. So I'm not really in the best position to answer that question. But I can tell you, just in the last couple of years since we are part of Tailored Brands, that our social media presence has been much more apparent, and it is expanding pretty rapidly. Yeah.
How many people do you see in this store on a typical day?
Well, transaction-wise, in an average day, you're looking at about, I mean, it fluctuates, but about 50 transactions.
Okay.
As far as customers actually walking through the door, some of that traffic could be people who ultimately don't purchase anything. They could just be browsing. We could have someone coming in for a pickup, which doesn't necessarily result in a transaction. So the only thing I can really quantify is transactions, and that's roughly 50. But in terms of the actual amount of people that walk through the door, I don't quantify
have, like,
that.
a number for the average amount per transaction.
So our average ticket, it fluctuates a little bit depending on the event, but on average, our average transaction is right around $250 in this store, $250 per transaction. Of course, we're going to have a lot of customers that come in first thing in the morning. They were on their way to work and they spilled coffee on their shirt, or they forgot a belt. He's coming in for an interview suit, but he also has a wedding that he's attending next month. So that's kind of what we're going to be geared towards in terms of the product that we're going to show him. But usually, at least in this store in particular, the customer will be walking through the door on the first floor. We're going to pretend that that's the door right there. So step on over and you'll be walking in just a moment. Now, prior to Julian walking through my door today, we would customer relationship with Julian prior to today. We recently introduced boy suits that go all the way down to I believe a size 6, and then we also have tuxedo rentals for young boys that go all the way down to a size 3. We also do tuxedo rentals for prom. So at some point in Julian's young life, we would have ideally already had the opportunity to work with him in some capacity, either by selling him a boy's suit, selling him a rental as maybe a ring bearer or junior groomsman, or maybe at least renting him a tuxedo for prom. But fast forward in Julian's life, and he's here for a suit for an interview and for an upcoming wedding. So come on in.
Sir,
Hi, how are you? Welcome to Joseph A. Bank.
appreciate it.
The weather's a little nippy out there, right? It looks like you don't have a top coat. We might have to get you set up with that.
Yeah.
My name is Anthony.
My name is Julian.
Pleasure. What brings you in today?
Well, I'm here for a wedding next month, and I'm looking for a little bit suit as well.
Okay, great. Do me a favor. Take off your jacket. I'm just going to take a couple minutes. Processes. This is, of course, isn't something that I'm going to verbalize to Julian, but just so everyone's aware of exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to take Julian's measurements for a couple different reasons. I'm going to be taking his chest and overarm measurement and his waist measurement, because that's going to be an indication of what size suit we're going to be showing Julian. I'm also going to be taking his neck and sleeve measurements, which is an